Well, folks, good evening. So I'm just going to rearrange my screen here so I can see everything. There we go. Okay. So Tammy, how are you?
I'm awesome. You? We haven't seen each other much today. Busy.
Right. There's a wall that separates us. Just a moment. We had a really good session today. Tammy and I are prospecting a really good friend of ours. Tammy actually reconnected with, and it's a dynamic couple, and Mexico. So it's really exciting. So we want to thank you this evening for joining in. The training call. Where are my notes? Here we go. There's so many screens and so many things going on. There we go. So the training call this evening is resources strategies for building a strong network marketing. And a lot of things, folks, are going to be things that you're aware of. But I know that often there's people that are just starting their journey with network marketing and understand that after all the prospecting aspect and everything else, when they're in the system and they're signed up, it's not when it ends, it's when that's when it begins. That's when their journey begins. And some of the things I'm going to share, most of you know of, but it's important that you are conscious and aware of those principles that are considered as the resources strategy to build a strong network marketing business with success. Now, the first part is going to be more theory. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that because I know many of you are aware and we have a lot of training to back that up. And the part two really is going to be Tammy, who's going to be going through the practical aspect of things. Tammy may also step in some of the aspect I'm going to cover on the theory, and I may also step in briefly on the aspect of the practical aspect of things. Now, what's important here is there's really 8 keys that 8 areas that I want to cover when it comes to resourceful strategy for network marketing success. Now, number 1 comes as common sense is building a strong network. We understand and we know this. And in fact, I'm going to post here into the chat. If you're happy to be on Facebook Live, by the way, thank you for joining in. Let me just confirm that this is up and running. It should be right here. Yep. Okay. It's up and running. Thank you for joining in. Certainly appreciate you. I know often in the Philippines, they are waking up in the morning. Thank you for joining in. Now, in Facebook Live, if you go to, for example, activeteamtraining.com, this is going to take us to your YouTube channel, and simply look for the playlist that says Success Cycle Playlist. Now, for those of you here on Zoom, I'm going to post it into the chat. I'm sure that every one of you are aware of that, obviously that channel, but I think it's important that you go and revisit that. These are the trainings that Tammy and I just kind of re-recorded since the beginning of the year. And the first thing that's really important, number 1, is you need to craft your story. That's as important. I'm not going to get into the details because the training is there, but you need to have a story for you to base your, it's to anchor your opportunity so people can relate to you. And often people are not always going to want to be part of the business because of the product or because of the opportunity, but often they can relate to your story. They can relate to the vision that you have with this particular opportunity due to your story. So this is really important, is to craft your story. If you have not done that, I really do recommend that you focus on that. Number 2 is to build your list. And again, if you go back to the training, there's a lot of keys and ideas and tips for you to start building your list. The other aspect is to learn how to prospect, effectively. There's a difference between selling the opportunity, selling the product, and actually building the relationship, focusing on a relationship prior to get into the aspect of the product or the opportunity. Number 4 is the art of inviting, right? There's a certain aspect of inviting that will make a difference. Why is it that some can invite big leaders and others can't? Why is it? What's the difference? Well, listening to these trainings, you may grasp in some of the topics that may actually help you and guide your compass on the art of inviting. The other one, number 5, which is one of the most important, is following up. And following up is really 2 aspects. There's following up where you follow up on what was last said, And there's also the third-party credibility, which is also another step of following up, which honestly, if I think of my business, and I've repeated very often, following up has been instrumental, third-party credibility is the follow-up process, has been instrumental to the level of success that we have today. If I didn't use these tactics, I don't think Ghana would have existed. It's very possible that Nigeria would have been, started by someone else, and all they did is sold big packages, and they didn't build a strategy, the philosophy, the relationship, the inspiring aspect of things. Who knows what would have happened? But again, the third-party credibility is absolutely critical. And I know that some of you are utilizing, but many of you are not. And if you use that, it could be very impactful into your business. So that's for really number one. Number two, very important, again, common sense, is to set realistic goals. See, network marketing can be challenging at times. I'm sure you'll agree with me, right? There's moments where it's not easy. It's not easy. You work and you work and you work and you work and you keep repeating and you keep doing, and suddenly the results are not there. Well, why is that? So the fact here, one is you need to set goals, specific goals, and there's also a mindset that goes around that, right? So some tips in achieving your goals, one thing I really recommend is make them specific, right? Things like, I want to make that much money and I want to live in that big house. And if it's out of reach, what's happening is it's difficult to relate to those goals, but you need to have them as a benchmark, as a destination, but you need to break them down. So you break them down into steps, and you also have deadlines. So and by breaking this into smaller steps, that turns into tasks, then you will find that as you do the task on a daily basis, and often we underestimate the power of doing, continuously doing. It's like someone who walks every day for an hour. At the end of the year, the transformation in your body will be amazing. And all you did really is you walked. You didn't go intense. You didn't go crazy. You didn't do some heavy lifting and all of these things that are difficult. You just did simple tasks repeated over time. And at the end of the year, the results are significant. That's network marketing. It's not about signing up the big whale. It's about continuing the steps and doing the activities. And Temi will touch on that with some examples. But write your goals down. And even though and I do encourage you to have big goals, you have to bring them down into realistic goals and bring them into steps and legitimate steps that you can actually apply and quantify as you do them on a daily basis. And the other point that's really important, and this particular aspect of realistic goals and all, is to celebrate your success. Go out for a nice glass of wine, with a nice meal with your partner or with your friends, maybe with your team leaders, or whatever it is. Celebrate. This is something that I know Tami and I, we talk about this, and when we celebrate often, but not enough, right? Sometimes we always working, right? But we do celebrate, but with the intensity of amount of work we do, we should celebrate more. This is really, really important, because it helps you feel good about yourself as you go through the activities of reaching your goals. But it's really important that you have specific goals. Don't just rely on your upline or someone above you to determine what your goal should be. You have to do this research. You have to define that for yourself, which is really, really important, because we don't live your life. You live your life. Now, number three, and I know we talked about this on the 12 foundations of building a successful foundation. The 12 principles, in building a successful foundation is communication skills. This is really important. Now, for a long period of time, English used to be my second language. Now is my first language, because I studied in French, but I had to work on that a lot. And I'm still, by a long shot, not perfect, but I can communicate very clearly. If I want a message to come across, I assure you, you will get the message. I may have to repeat it a few times, but the point here, it's very important to communicate effectively. But the fact is, it's not just about communicating effectively, but it's also to be in a position to communicate on a regular basis. So, for example, as you are prospecting, and Tammy will do some example on that a little later, but as you're prospecting and communicating with people, active listening. We did a video on that, Tammy, I think it was about a month ago, on active listening. Pay attention to what people are telling you, because then you can ask open-ended question, right? And then at this point, they can actually provide you a lot of information that could lead you to more opportunity to share what we have to offer. That's all part of the art of inviting. And one very important thing, number 3 in effective communication, is build a strong relationship in the process. Maintain strong relationship in the process. One of the reasons, for example, Tammy was able to invite this wonderful couple in Mexico that is very, very open and very excited to work with us. It's that open relationship that we've been building over the years. Even though we weren't in the same team, we weren't in the same company for years, there's always been a mutual respect for each other and for the decision they made and what they did. And eventually we're crossing path again, and boom, right? The opportunity presents itself, because you never know, opportunity may actually come around. So always make sure that you build on the relationship regardless of the decision of the person and what they choose to do. Because I'm telling you, it's interesting how the circles often comes back. Number 4 is, as you are prospecting and sharing and kind of providing information to attract your prospect, you want to share valuable content. And I think, Tammy, you may have some examples on that. But, one of the things that Tammy and I started doing often is, sometimes I need a little bit of inspiration. I'm going to go ChatGPT, and it says, hey, ChatGPT. And I talk to ChatGPT like a friend, by the way. It's really amazing, the response and the interaction that actually improves. So you say, you could say something like, hey, ChatGPT. I actually would do that. Can you act like, for example, devil advocate for me in reference to network marketing? And it will give me all of these things that I can I can use. And it's really cool when you deal with objections and they're all there. It's really interesting. Or, hey, ChatGPT, can you give me some ideas on some great content from some wonderful social media posts that can really elaborate or educate or bring value to a product? Boom, let it go, and all the information is spit out. And then you can take the information. I do not recommend for you to do a cut and paste and do that. I recommend to you that you read through it, and then you convert some of the words into your own words within your own context, if you understand my meaning when I'm saying this. So you want to share valuable content, right? Some of you are great writers. You can have great blogs, right? Videos. You can do great videos. Some of you are doing this, like 30 seconds, 54 seconds, less than a minute video. On YouTube, if you do a video less than a minute, it automatically classifies into a short video. And there's a lot of things that you can do with that. Same thing with Instagram, same thing with TikTok. And in fact, that's what we're doing. We also hired someone, because we're in a different level, to take some of our video and cut them in segments and post them. It's still us, it's our work, but we're having someone that actually we're leveraging. So these are things that you can do in the future as you move forward. But you want to share valuable content that people can actually be attracted to what you have. And it's working. We're noticing more people that are coming into our social environment. And every time that, for example, I'll come back to that because I have another example to that when it comes to technology, which is the next portion. So one thing is number 5. Okay, so number 4 is share valuable content. Number 5 is you really want to leverage on the technology. Okay. And you want to use powerful tools. I want to I want to share with you what Tammy and I have been working on in the past couple months. Well, basically since the beginning of the year. I'm working a lot on funnels. And I know some of you that may be a foreign word, but for some of you, it is not. So I'm just going to share it quickly. And what's really important here is to create a landing page, right? So for example, you can do this. You can promote this landing page organically. That means you're promoting this through your social media platform, or you can do some Facebook ads. For some of you, that may be foreign. For some of you, it is not foreign because it's not really all that complicated. Let me tell you how I learned it. I went to YouTube. How do I post an ad on Facebook? And I saw this young guy sharing all the information. I copied what he did, and boom, he was done. I never did one before. And now the ad was running. Now we're going a little further by hiring people that are professional in that area. But the fact here, regardless of how you promote, is you're promoting a landing page. That's happens to be a page that will collect name, email, or name, email, and phone number, which phone number I often put as optional. Now, from there, what happens is the moment I get that information, then they start receiving what we call an autoresponder, an email coming from an autoresponder that's going to continue building that relationship. And this system is going to be working while we're traveling in Africa, in Mexico. Okay, so it's important to utilize the technology. Another portion, which is a lot simpler, is you can use YouTube videos that you've created. If you didn't create one, I suggest you use one of ours. You can use maxpays.com, right? So that contains three videos. One is the science video. The other one is the timing video. And the third one, it's a video that I did with a gentleman from Texas, and it's about 35 minutes. If you don't want that one, just use your own, right? You can cut and paste the first two video and create your own channel. My point here is you want to leverage technology for people to be able to quickly get the information. You can also invite people to tomorrow night. We're doing an English presentation at 8 o'clock, right? You can use the flyer, promote that. You understand what I'm saying? So leverage from the technology. This is really, really important. Number 6 is to build a personal brand. Now, Tammy and I are constantly working in our brand, but we have the active team group, which is all part of Max, and it's our team support and everything else. But we create another segment of that. It's called Commit to Transform. We bought the domain and we created Facebook page that are in line to Commit to Transform. One of them is actually a private group. We also have part of the YouTube channel with the Chris and Tammy, all of this. And what's happening is our brand is there. So for example, when someone receives emails from my autoresponder, at the bottom of this email, it points to all these icons, which is TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn. I could go on and on here. You can test it, guys, if you want to. Just go to, for example, maxpays.com, maxpays.com. And when you go there, you'll see what I send. And I look forward to your feedback. Okay, but you'll have a prime example how my engine is working on the back end. Eventually, we do intend to teach this, but before I teach, I want to make sure I earn utilizing this channel. But I can tell you that some people are earning quite a bit, and I intend to become a big player in that area. So I just want you to know that, yes, number 5 is utilize technology, and don't be afraid of it. So number 6, again, is the brand, which is very important. And it's what is important here is in your brand, you want to have a unique, proposition value. What I mean by that? Well, what problem are we solving? Well, we're solving a common problem in our society that deals with a compromised immune system. We have a unique solution. We have a solution to a common problem, which offers a wonderful opportunity. That's the benefit. Number 3. Right. And from there, what makes us different from everybody else is that we're backed up for some really credible science. You can't dispute that. That's the backbone of what we offer. And that's the brand that we have. But in the same time is what do we offer is breaking a cycle of poverty. And we can go on and on and on, but having a brand is also very important. And number 7, very important here, guys. Okay, there's just 2 more. Number 7 is you want to develop resiliency, because network marketing can be challenging, folks. And having a resilient mindset is critical, especially today. If every day you whine and complain about your situation, folks, it's not going to get better, because that's all you think about. That's all you focus on. And as much as you tell yourself, well, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm doing this, what's happening is that mindset that constantly come in with the negative thoughts around what's not happening. It's exactly what's going to keep you what you are. It's like you have a positive where you're focusing on, but you keep repeating the negative and one cancels the other. This is something that I've learned years and years ago from Esther Hicks. Do you remember, Tammy, what it was called, her book? The Power of Intention. I forgot what it was called, but it's really, do not estimate your power, your brain power. It is really powerful. Your mindset has to be resilient. You have to also practice self-care. All of you here, I mean, all of you look beautiful, looks fantastic. That self-care is very important because it builds on that, that confidence, right? And you also don't be shy to get support from your upline leadership, very important. And I want to repeat again, cultivate a positive mindset. I cannot stress this enough. Very, very important. Last point when it comes to number 8 is you need to analyze it, always adapt to the market. Now, what we did in 2019, it's not wrong today. It is still there. We're doing the hybrid version of that. So it's a combination of we're still meeting people. We're still going to meetings. We're still going to the locations and meet people in face-to-face. That's why we're going to Mexico. So it's really important, but it's combined with the virtual world of Zoom and eCam and everything else. So the fact here is when we go to Mexico, here's what's happening. We're not just going to go there, meet people and everything else and leave. We're going to go there, meet everybody else and connect them to our system, which is our virtual system. So now when we leave, we are still together because now they're plugged into the virtual electronic technology that we have, that we provide through the app and through the meetings. Now we're starting a Spanish presentation at 9 o'clock, right? And which is coming very soon. So thank you to Erica. Thank you to Luz. I'm not sure if Luz, yeah, Luz is here. Erica, Luz, I wish I could support you guys and do it in Spanish. And but thank you so much for being there. So this is an add-on. And it's going to add to our culture because now we're not just doing English and French. Now we're adding French on Thursday. I think if we do Spanish, we're going to do French, right? So there's 3 languages. And if you promote this well, it elevates the value of this organization, of this group, of the system that we have in place, right? So you constantly have to adapt to the market and adjust to this current situation and improve upon it. So I'm going to, on this note, Tammy, 22 minutes. I'm 2 minutes past my promise of 20 minutes. So I'm going to turn it over to you and feel free to call me in if you need anything for me to add.
All right. So I have access to share screen, right?
Yes, you do.
Okay. So before I share screen, I just want you to write down a few things because what I want to do is some hands-on stuff. How to be resourceful. You're seeing a lot of that online now through the 90-day social media run. You learned a lot about that with Fraser Brooks. These are some of the things that Chris and I have done for so many years, especially when we're going into new markets. When we're looking for a specific target area, which we're going to do a training on target marketing because it's really important, especially on social media, because there's just so much out there. And the key is to narrow down your target. Who are you targeting? What is your target market? What are the needs and the desires? What are the age groups of people that you're connecting to? So we are going to do a training on that. That won't be obviously tonight, probably next week. We got the Easter weekend, so we won't have a session, but the following weekend, I think that would be a really good session for everybody to get on and learn. So how do you connect with people? That's the big thing. Whether you're offline or online, our business is about connecting with people. And I think the easiest thing to do is connect with people that have similarities, different likes and hobbies, whatever it is, careers, whatever it is that you feel that you could easily strike up a conversation. And it's like your best friends by the time you finish the conversation. And it flows so well because you have so much to talk about. So I just kind of put a few examples out there, common interests that are common interests for myself, which you probably see a lot of that on social media, fitness.
Are you showing your screen, Tammy? Sorry for interrupting.
No, not yet.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just throwing some ideas out there first. And then we're going to go and research because I want you to get really, really comfortable with doing your research. So some things that I like to research is fitness, communities, groups, and what's local, who can you connect with? and build relationships with. And it's an easy in for me. Some of you, it might be about pets. Business owners. If you're a business owner, it's got to be really easy to open the door to a business store owner and have a conversation with them on how everything's going with today's economy, how are they keeping up and all of this stuff. And you know, you would tell them about working from home now. You found a business that you can leverage and be anywhere you want to be as long as you got a phone, you know. So nutrition, sports, any type of sports. Think of something that you can bring Max into. You know, for example, I love knitting. Anybody who knows me really well knows that I used to own a knitting business. Some of you might not know that, but I'm not going to join a knitting group because I'm not going to really have, well, maybe I'll make good connections and stuff, but I'm not going to get the target that I'm looking for. So for my time is valuable. So I want to spend my time doing the right things. And I do research at night or early morning so that that you're not taking your, you know, business building time, because there's certain times that you can really connect with people. That's not where you want to spend your time doing your research. You want to be connecting with people. Spend this time on your off Max focused hours in doing the money making activities. Okay, so there's that. I talked about certain business owners, gyms, independent businesses, any type of real estate, anybody who is an influencer that's in that environment. Pet shops, oh my gosh, grooming, people who walk pets. I mean, they're working with people who have money to get them to go and walk their pet while they're at work. And they need to know about these products, not just for themselves, but also for their pets. So there's ways that you can have conversations with these people by connecting with them. Any type of an influencer online that have large networks is getting into the networks. That's really, really important. Whether it's networking events, BNIs. Have you ever been part of a BNI? Any one of you? Who's been part of a BNI where you actually paid for? Yeah, I know that we used to, but with all the traveling that we did, we couldn't commit to, and you had to be there so many times in a year, or you can't be part of it. Yeah, I remember Jazz, you too, like different specific groups that you're part of. There's Chamber of Commerce, there's trade shows. I mean, there's so many things. There's absolutely no excuse for any of us not to be doing this business unless, I mean, obviously you have to work your time really well. And I mean, if you're not doing it, it's because you're not doing it, period. And so it's up to you on what you want to accomplish with all of this information that we're going to share with you. So where are these people? They're online and they're offline. And one thing that I really learned in the last 90 days, more than anything, now that we're back out there belly to belly, Chris and I have these cards called POPL. Popple. Chris, you want to put that in the chat? Mm-hmm. And it's actually electronic cards, so we don't need business cards anymore. And we go out and we have our scan code. Is that what, I don't know what it's called. And they just scan. QR code. Yeah, QR code. And then they just scan and they're literally connected with us, and then we'll connect with them because they share their information. And on ours, we have all our social media links. So now all of these people are connecting with us on social media because we met them out at a business networking event. So think of things that are going to be easier for you to just dial in and collect information where they actually have yours, where they have all your social media platforms. That was really powerful, number one. And just, you know, different ways of being creative where you're out and about. I know the girls are doing a trade show, so I'm sure that every one of you are going to have your QR codes. I know we did last year, and thanks to Erica, I mean, I learned about it. So there's that. So those are different ideas, and you might have your own. okay, that you're thinking about, that you could tap into, where you can meet people in your target market that are online or offline. Okay, so online there's a lot of groups. There's a lot of groups. If you do your research, there's a lot. And obviously you can use your personal page. For those of you who are not really social media savvy, don't get intimidated by any of this stuff. Start with one thing. Always think about that. One step, one thing. Once you get that mastered, go on to another thing. Okay. And through the process, you're going to meet a whole bunch of people. All right. And you want to ask a bunch of questions when you connect with people. So let me just do an example. I'm just scrolling down because I want to make this pretty quick, because I want to show you stuff. I'm a hands-on person. I'm visual. Anybody visual here? It's easier for you to learn, to see something. We don't know if there's any visual. Am I the only visual?
No. I can see. Tammy, they all lift their hands because you're not
Okay.
watching you can select
right.
the view to watch the audience, but that's okay. I see it.
Okay, so let me share screen with you. Let me know if you see this screen. Anybody see the screen?
Yep.
Okay. I was doing some research. So, so for an example, because we're going into Mexico, Chris and I are doing our research, and we're not going to wait. Here's the key. If you're going to do an event, don't wait till you get to the event. Work the market well in advance before you get to that event. Why? Because you're going to meet people. You're going to meet people online. You're going to meet people. You're going to ask for referrals. You're going to connect with people. Hey, do you know anybody? Hey, do you know anybody? So guess what we're doing? We're literally calling in Mexico into our DNA right now. I don't know if you believe in energy, but it works. So I keep talking and asking for people who are from Mexico to come into my energy, and they're coming. Another guy, we have an appointment on Thursday. Connected with him on Facebook. I believe he's Canadian, moved to Playa del Carmen, and was telling me all the benefits of living in Mexico. And I said, oh my gosh, I'd really love to hear what you have to say about Mexico, because we're opening a business in Mexico, and who knows, we may want to buy a place there. So he says, yeah, sure, let's connect. Well, guess what? We're Facebook friends. He's watching. You think he's going to look through my platform before we get on a session? Absolutely. He's going to check me out, right? So these are the things that you want to do is be prepared. Don't say, I don't know anybody in that market. I know I used to say that. That's why I'm saying that, because I remember when I first started network marketing, I forget what market we were open at the time. And the first thing that came out of my mouth is, I don't know anybody in that market. Well, I was taught that I had to do my research and I had to go find people that are in that market locally and then abroad. So for example, I was curious of how many Mexicans that are living in the United States. Does everybody see my screen?
Yes, Tammy, we are.
Okay, don't stop there. See the population of Mexicans living in the United States. So always scroll, you guys. This one thing that Chris, I really got from Fernie, the guy that's coaching us, is you scroll. Don't just stop at the top pages. So how many Mexican citizens living in the US? What percentage of US population is Mexican? It's good to have some information under your belt. Where do most Mexicans live in the US? I don't know. Would you be curious? I know I was curious.
Click on the arrow down. I'd like to see. There we go.
Yeah, I was doing that. So second largest Mexican community in the world, 24% of the entire Mexican origin population in the world. And let me see, California and Texas. So I did my research already on this. So I'm just throwing it out there to you because I'm going to show you the next step to this. because you want to go deeper into your research. And that's how I connect with people. Okay, so I'm not finished there. I'm going to look about different things. You might find some community stuff, events that are going on in different places. If not, you research. Go on Google and ask for certain things. So, and again, people also ask, where do the majority of Mexican population live? Where is most Mexican population outside of Mexico? And start doing your research, because you know what? You may end up knowing some people that live in Chicago, Texas, California, that you could reconnect with and ask them if they happen to know anybody. Ask for referrals. You know, we're bringing a North American opportunity to Mexico, and of course our products to make a difference for their health. And they may even be curious enough to know what you're up to. So do your due diligence, keep going down, learn a little bit of stuff. I was looking for some Philippine stuff in Florida. I was doing all kinds of research of events that are going on, and find out how many. Okay, let's go now. I did Canada already. Okay, I wanted to have that prepared for you. Some of you are Canadians. All right, so go and do your research. Find out how many Latinos are in Canada. Where's the biggest population? Why do they move to Canada? And do your research. Yes, it takes time, but it's gonna lead you to something. I'm gonna tell you, it will lead you to something. All right. Okay, so let's go quickly into Facebook. So you see all my stuff popping up, people I'm connecting with. Sorry about that. All right, so I was just playing around a little bit because I know that Jasmine and Shani, they bought a piece of land in Progreso. And so I was curious, it's not far from Merida. I'm curious, so I'm just checking out the different Facebook groups. And I want to join a group that has a good 10,000, around 10,000 people, so I could connect to. And you can join in smaller groups if you want, but I'm looking for different things. And I'm also looking for people who are English speaking. So Americans and Canadians who have moved to Mexico. Be easy to communicate with them if you don't speak Spanish. If you speak Spanish, wow, you got lots of opportunity here. And don't allow that to stop you, because you can also Google search. I've been chatting with people back and forth that don't speak English, and we're having good communication. All right. And I let them know that my business partners speak Spanish. So, and then you want to invite them to the opportunity presentation on Tuesday night. So we got, which is what, tomorrow night. All right, so here you go. Future expats. Let me see. I haven't clicked on any of them. I was just going out of curiosity, because I went to Merida as well. Go to Merida as well, or any market that you feel that you would want to build in and go visit. If you're going to vacation right now, I wouldn't be vacationing anywhere outside of, I would be going to Mexico. If you're going to take a vacation, go to Mexico, because we're opening the market. And it's beautiful too. So moving to Mexico, that could be interesting. It's an opportunity to join some different groups. And then ask questions in the group. Look at their comments. So what I've been doing, expats living in Mexico, there you go, 36,000 people. All right, so you can visit and see what they're up to. You can join the group. I know I joined quite a few groups to see what people are up to. You can see the visit is the ones that I've joined. And I take the bigger ones. Like I said, I don't want to waste my time. And so go through and do your research. Start connecting with people. And We don't want to be the best kept secret in Mexico. We want to scream at the top of our lungs and make everybody aware of what's coming. Everybody's got to know what's coming. And you got to be posting like crazy and promote the 5 of us going to Merida. Even if your contacts are not in Merida, don't worry about it, because they may know somebody in Merida that they could refer people to you. There's a lot of people that own Airbnbs. They vacation on the coldest months and they're all leaving right now. So I'm talking to a guy, Miguel in Montreal. He lives in Montreal and he's lived there for 9 years. And we were chatting. He's just recently renting his property because he's gone back to Montreal, and we're back and forth right now having conversation. So I'm going to invite him to come and check out one of the sessions there, the Spanish sessions, but also invite him to join me on a Zoom session so I can share what we're doing in the market. And he is from Mexico. So yeah, so this is what you want to do. And when you go into a group, let me see one of the groups that I've joined. Is this helpful, you guys? Did I open your minds to anything that maybe you haven't tried yet?
It's kind of hard to see the nod of a head, but I think everybody's nodding. Give us a thumbs up, virtual thumbs up. That way we can confirm.
All right. So here's what I'm doing. So I'm going into groups, I'm joining groups, and remember, no spamming. You cannot spam in groups. You have to be very careful, but you can get information by watching people throw stuff out there. So what did I do? Let me see what's here. People are introducing themselves, they're moving into the community, they're asking questions. Some are interested in the community, some are selling things. Let me see. Okay, somebody here is renting a place. So you can see more, and you'll find numbers, just so you know. This is how I'm doing it. I'm finding people, I'm finding numbers. I left a message for Rekna already. Like I said, they're selling things. Some people are putting information.
One thing, Tammy, if I may add, because I did a training on that, one of the segment of Fraser Books. And here's an example where you may want to look for the people in a group that are what we call the influencers. If they have, let's say they make a post and there's about 50 comments and more on the post that they made, that could be a good prospect. And one thing, and often happens to be the people who owns the group. And we're going, there in July, and you can have legitimate questions. Even if you're not going there, you can say, some of my friends or partners are actually going in that area, and ask any question that you find would be interesting to you to initiate a conversation. And one thing that you may want to do in that particular group is just say, or a few of my friends are actually going in Merida, Mexico. Where are the best restaurants that you can recommend for us to go, to go eat? I'm telling you, you will get response.
Yes.
You may get quite a bit, as a matter of fact.
Yeah. Yeah. And actually, one of the conversations I struck up, that was the big one. And they're asking what area we're going and why we're going.
That's it.
Eventually. So that strikes up conversations.
Cute puppy.
Yeah. So if you're a dog lover, you can see if you can connect with people through these platforms, letting them know what we have for products. I mean, there's so many things. And through this platform, people had asked, where would I go if I needed an emergency doctor? And they were posting doctors, clinics, names of doctors, surgeons. So I got all their numbers and started writing up a segment where I sent. So we're going to see what what will come out of that. They may respond to me, they may not. They may go search for me on the platform, and we'll see. So that's what you want to be doing, especially with Airbnbs and stuff like that. I mean, Jasmine and Shenny are going before us. They have they've got great target markets. Shenny being a business owner, and she owns a salon. She can tap into every single hair salon in the area and tell them about what she's up to. Jasmine, dental hygienist. Oh my gosh. I was looking at the dental clinics. There's a lot of people that you can connect to. So think about that when you're working even in your own local market. That's the point, is to always do your research. So I'm going to leave it at that. And I just want to throw a couple things out there on what we're up to. And another thing is, when you're doing a trade show, that's another event. So if you're going to do a trade show, connect with people in that area. If you don't live in that area, you let them know that you're coming to the area. Join a group in Toronto. If the trade show is in Toronto, join a group. Tell them you're going to do a show in a trade show and at a specific event. Invite them out to come meet you, and ask them some of the best restaurants that you could go to. Connect with people. Find a way to have a conversation and keep the conversation going, and ask questions. And you'll be surprised on the great results that you're going to get.
See, what's interesting is, Tammy tapped on a few of the 8 key areas. She talked about the communication. She talked about sharing valuable content and information. She's leveraging the technology, right? And understanding that it was kind of on the line, but she has her brand, because when she posts into these groups, guess what's going to happen? I know I do it. If someone posts and I'm curious to see who's this person, I click their profile. I check them out. I see what's going on their page. You see? So that's another thing, is when you post things, that's why you want to also be diligent on when you post on your personal profile. You don't want just to have max products there. You want to have lifestyle. You want to have, if you happen to be someone, like I said, that are into animals. I know, Jasmine, you have this beautiful little puppy, right? And then you take pictures, you have a story around that. And, some people may gravitate to it. And just give you one example, right? So again, using the brand is very important. And the thing is to be resilient and consistent. What Tammy shared with you here is exactly what we've learned in the past 90 days, is to connect to groups, interact with the groups, find groups that are, at least 5,000 to 10,000 in there minimum, and respond. When you post a post in there, make sure that it's relevant to the purpose of that group. And then from there, if obviously it is, 2 things may happen: is they may interact with you, they may check your page. And if you find there's an interaction, then you can go personally private message them and continue the conversation outside of the group, because at one point you may start sharing personal things, product, whatever it is, a conversation may lead. You know how it is when you have a roundtable discussion, everything goes, anything goes, right? You may build a relationship. They may talk about their personal situation. You may have a solution. You see what I'm getting at? So this is exactly what's going on. So you're not going to utilize all the principles every time, but these are the areas that are generically the 8 areas that are absolutely critical to build your network. But you got to go out there, and if you never go to the lake with your fishing rod, you're never going to catch anything, right? You do have to put the bait on the hook, and you have to throw the rod out in the water to make sure that, and this is what we're telling you. It's not just going to happen by sitting home. So, it's kind of ironic. You're sitting home, but you're doing virtually. You know what I mean? So this is the way that that is going to evolve and grow. And the fact that we're going in Merida, it's probably a good idea to start connecting with people that may be in this area. Now, if you all go in the same group, you're going to start finding, what are you, all you guys. Yeah. But again, if you're being professional and sharing information, genuine interest about the area, people are always fascinated and keen and proud to share something about where they live. I mean, don't you feel that about your own city and your own area and your own condo? And if someone say, I live in this condo, what's your reaction? Oh my God, I live there too. And you see what I'm saying? That reaction is what we're talking about that happens all the time. So go out there, folks, and just throw that wad in the water, and you'll see that some fish will bite. And based on your interaction and your experience in interacting with people, some of you are going to be able to, have some breakthroughs. So I just want to add this, Tammy.
Yeah, I'm just looking to see if there was any questions or on the platform, Chris.
No, everything's good.
We're all good. All right. Okay, so do your due diligence, get new business, connect with new people, keep going, because you never know. I reconnected with some old friends, and just because of the results, now I'm really connecting with old friends, because one of them just happens to live now half a year in Mexico, and she's half a year in Toronto. Which she always has been, but I didn't know she lived half a year in Mexico. She says, yeah, I've been doing it for years now. And I'm like, oh, cool. So, what do you like about it? And then we're reconnecting. And then she says, well, why are you going to Mexico? And I told her, I said, well, we're actually, she knew about Max because I told her a long time ago. She signed up, didn't do anything with it. And her life is slowed down a bit. But long story short is she says, Tammy, let me know where you're going. Send me an email with your information. And give me some point forms of what you're up to. And she says, I'm going to forward it to some people who are looking to make money while they're in Mexico that are either Canadian or American. So she likes me. We have a great relationship. We haven't talked in a while, but we're great friends. So she's open to help. Even if she's interested or not, she's still open to help. So that was kind of her. And I can think of a few people on the top of my head right now that I recently connected to. They don't want to do any they're retired. They don't want to do anything, but they said, send me the information because I got a brother in Mexico City. I've got this friend here. They may be interested. So you got to reach out to people, and you'll find out that people know people in Mexico.
So in closing, guys, I want to remind you that next week it's Easter Monday, so we're not going to have a session. Respect for this time, and then the following week after that, we're going to be resuming, and we're going to be talking about target market, finding the right target market to help you kind of laser focus your where you should be, what you should be covering, where you should be targeting. And eventually we're going to start talking about, ads and campaigns. And I really want to teach you guys these funnels because it's not complicated. And if you're interested to have the entry level that Tammy and I are into about attraction marketing to become attractive online, this is something that could be very, very helpful. They're really, really good in crafting letters and giving you the knowledge. And they have a really, really good system in place that facilitates all of this. They have support and everything else. So as you keep evolving, if you want to keep developing your technology skills, it will serve you well. So like Tammy said, do not be intimidated by it just because you're not familiar. Once upon a time, you didn't know how to read and write. I know that's false, but you understand what I mean. You adapt. People didn't know how to use cell phones before. Today, it's a no-brainer. It's just it's not even an afterthought. So it's just adapting. And that's what I mean is to adapt to what's going. And if you can develop these skills, it will serve you well in the future. There's a lot of changes happening in our economy, folks, and it's not going to stop. It's going to change. There's going to be a lot of adaptation, and the people that are in a position to constantly be in front of people to be able to share a common solution, or should I rephrase a solution to a common problem, which is what Max International has. I was speaking to Joe Vortecchio today in closing, and he's very excited about the future and the things that he's going to be. There's some good things, guys. Stay the course. Don't be distracted by, like I like to call it, the white noise. Okay, don't stay focused. The products have never changed. the entire world is going to a financial crisis, and our company is doing really well, dodging all of these things and working around it, right? And the fact is, I assure you that those of you that are staying the course, that are preparing yourselves, you're developing yourself in your skills and your abilities, you will thrive when things go back to a new normal. So that's the end of our session. Again, next Monday, we're not going to have a session. It's going to be rescheduled for the following one. And we're going to be working on your target market. Okay. So everybody have yourself a wonderful evening. Thank you so much for taking the time, and the call are recorded as always, and it'll be posted by tomorrow on the activeteamtraining.com. Okay. Have a great night, everybody. Bye-bye.